So, what do you get when you mix NBA superstars, mafia money, and some seriously high-tech gadgets at a poker table? Well, you get one of the wildest cheating scandals you've ever heard of. This is a story that starts with some very famous faces and ends with a massive federal investigation.
Right there. That's it. Those are the three big pieces of a federal investigation that seriously reads like a Hollywood script. The accusation is pretty simple, but wow, is it shocking. NBA stars were allegedly used as bait to lure in wealthy players to games that weren't just rigged, they were technologically designed so you could never, ever win.
And a federal prosecutor really summed it up perfectly. The celebrity factor was the bait. It's just a chilling way to describe the whole operation, right? The trust that people had in these players was apparently turned into a weapon to get people to walk right into a trap. For years, there were just these whispers, rumors in the high-stakes poker world. But then, in late 2025, it all became very, very real. The Department of Justice dropped an absolute bombshell of an indictment, blowing the lid off this incredibly sophisticated illegal gambling ring that had been running right under everyone's noses for almost 5 years. The DOJ's allegations just paint this incredible picture. Okay, so first you've got the bait. NBA guys like Chauncey Billups, who prosecutors claim gave the whole thing a legitimate feel, even if they had no idea what was really going on. Then you've got the trap itself, these super high-stakes games that were impossible to win. And pulling the strings? A shadowy team-up of mafia figures and some serious tech wizards. So how in the world do you build something like this, the perfect trap? I mean, this wasn't just some guy with a marked deck of cards. No. This was a highly sophisticated operation, built with incredible precision over years. And just look at this timeline. It's wild how long this whole thing was flying under the radar. They allegedly put this alliance together way back in 2019. And for 6 years, they ran these rigged games in all these fancy spots all over the country, all before the DOJ finally brought the hammer down. So here's how they built the illusion. Picture this, luxurious Manhattan penthouses, private villas out in Hamptons. And the guest list? It's a who's who of business tycoons, athletes, influencers. The whole vibe was exclusive, glamorous. It felt totally legit and safe. But investigators say the key ingredient, the thing that made it all work, was having NBA stars there. Their famous faces, the easy way they laugh. It was the ultimate way to make everyone at the table just completely let their guard down. But all that glamour, the celebrities, the fancy locations, that was all just window dressing. The real engine behind this whole scam was the technology. And honestly, it sounds like something straight out of a spy movie. Okay, so this brings up the obvious question, right? How could they possibly guarantee a win? Poker is supposed to be about chance and skill and luck. A guaranteed win? That should be impossible. But according to the feds, it's not impossible if you can just completely remove chance from the game. You have got to hear what was in this cheating toolkit. It is absolutely mind-blowing. We're talking about custom card shuffling machines that could secretly stack the deck, cards printed with micro markings that were totally invisible to the naked eye, and, get this, smart contact lenses that would feed insiders real-time info on every single card in play. Just wow. And this really gets to the heart of it, the fundamental betrayal of the game. Real poker is about bluffing. It's about probability, reading people. This thing they were running, it was a rigged performance. The insiders allegedly knew every card. They turned a game built on trust into a high-tech magic trick. I mean, this quote from the affidavit just hits the nail on the head. It was the perfect storm, right? You had Silicon Valley level tech fused with the cold, ruthless efficiency of organized crime. And that combination, that's what made this whole thing so incredibly effective and so devastating. Okay, so a system that literally guarantees you win is going to generate a lot of cash. The next big question for prosecutors was, where did all that money go? And they're now tracing a trail that they believe is worth tens of millions of dollars. And if you want to get a sense of the financial damage here on a personal level, get this. One player allegedly lost $500,000 in one night. They walked out of that room thinking they just had a terrible run of bad luck, never even suspecting the game was fixed from the very first card dealt. So how do you make millions of dollars in dirty money just disappear? The indictment lays out this classic laundering pipeline. First, you collect all the cash winnings. Then you funnel that money through shell companies, front businesses set up to look like sports management agencies. From there, it gets converted into cryptocurrency to just scramble the trail before it finally lands in offshore accounts, totally clean and untraceable. And this is where the story takes a really dark turn. The U.S. Attorney's Office isn't just talking about some generic mobsters here. No, they've alleged ties to two of the most infamous names in the history of organized crime, the Gambino and Genovese families. They were reportedly the ones managing this entire money laundering machine.
You just knew that when a scheme this huge finally came crashing down, the fallout was going to be absolutely massive. Once that indictment was unsealed, you could feel the shockwaves ripple through the sports world and the gambling world almost immediately.
So, what brought this whole empire to its knees? It all came down to a single whistleblower. A former tech engineer, apparently torn up with guilt over building these cheating devices, walked into an FBI office with everything. We're talking design blueprints, internal chat logs, server data. That one decision triggered the raids and led to the indictment of 34 people.
In the aftermath, of course, the people who were named have had to respond. Chauncey Billups, through his lawyer, has stated very clearly that he was unaware of any unlawful conduct. And it's really important to point out, prosecutors haven't accused the players of actually being in on the cheating. The allegation is that their presence was just crucial to creating that false sense of legitimacy.
You know, beyond the millions of dollars and the potential prison time, there's a deeper kind of damage here. High-stakes poker, at its core, is a house of cards built on one single thing: trust. Trust in the deck, trust in the other players. This scandal didn't just break the law, it ripped the entire foundation out from under the game. And you could see the impact on the poker community almost overnight. Participation in these big private games, it dropped like a rock as this wave of paranoia just spread everywhere. And at the same time, you had this huge outcry from the community, demanding more transparency, calling for new regulations, anything to make sure this could never, ever happen again. And that's really the unsettling place this whole story leaves us for now. You've got 34 people indicted, a massive federal investigation that's still going on, and this one question that now just hangs over every single private card game out there. How deep did this corruption really go?
Start a live chat now to join one of our clubs or ask us any questions. Message at bluffingmonkeys24_7 on Telegram or visit bluffingmonkeys.com and start a live chat.